we draw out? What are we going to do in this experience, in this incarnation?
Mhm.
So they're a huge part of that plan, and they know what maybe you didn't accomplish the last time, the last 3, 5 times.
Oh yeah.
So I always say to people, if you pull the plug like suicide, like it you're going to end up exactly with that life lesson when you get back into Earth. And
Mm.
if you want to avoid that, learn the lesson now.
Yeah.
Like, just put on your big girl panties, big boy panties. Learn it now, because there is no escape hatch. It's like a pause, but you're going to reincarnate, and whatever it is that you want to avoid, you're going to have to face. So you might as well,
Mm.
at least for me, I don't want to deal with certain things again.
Mm.
So I'm really trying hard to learn,
Mm.
so I don't have to go through what I did.
I'm so yeah.
So spirit guides help us to write the contract,
Yeah.
advisors. But while we are here,
Yeah.
um, it's almost like how they used to always joke around, a good angel, bad angel, right? Your conscience, Jiminy Cricket, your conscience.
Yeah.
So we can receive information in our dreams, um, as a thought, like just something
Mhm.
that's pleasant. I say that to you all the time.
Yeah.
Like, if something brilliant comes out, I'll
Yeah.
say I don't know if I can take the credit for that, because I don't know where that came from. Like yesterday, we were getting ready to go for a walk, and I'm like, the weather's pretty bad. I feel like, I'm like, I'm getting that we're supposed to go shopping to get all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that really,
Yeah.
it wasn't supposed to rain all day, but
Mm.
that's what I was getting. Like, get your butt out there and take
Yeah.
care of business.
Sure. Okay.
So sometimes we don't know where, but if it feels right, you go with it, right?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
ignore it, you normally kicking your booty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's your spirit guide, your higher self.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Everything you just described there about the ways in which the spirit guide us and assist us and prompt us, etc. Cannot angels do that as well?
I personally, for me, they are my guides.
So the angels are your guides?
For me, like, they seem to be a part of my team. Um, I know that you reminded me, I don't really remember. It seems like a dream, because I really trained myself to live in it now. So some stuff is hard. But you told me that I told you years ago I fired my guides.
Yeah, you did tell me that. No, or
And I,
your
I wonder,
angels. No, I think you told me, and correct me if I'm wrong, you fired your angels, your guardian angels, and replaced them with the archangels.
I have to admit, I am a little wacko with
Hmm.
the way I work with the spirit world. I'm kind of
Okay.
annoying. Like, because I'll argue even if I think I'm talking to God. Like, if I don't want to do something, I'll
Yeah.
give lip service. It's like,
Uh,
but some people, like, will they're good. Like, they're like, okay, whatever you say. I'm not like that. If I really don't want to do something, I've learned now more so to surrender. But yeah, I could see me doing that. I just felt there was a period of time, I kind of remember this, because I read about other mediums and they're protected. No, that never happens to me. And I'm like, what the heck? Where's my team? What's going on here? And because I wasn't, I had all kinds of scary experiences. So after a while, I think it was after my dad died, and I started reading up on all this stuff. I was finally like, all right, I'm always seeing dead people, because things were going off the chain when my dad was dying, or right after he died. The house was really messed up. Like, energy was, like, there was a lot of spirits coming in. So I got pissed. I kind of remember it was a lot of trauma back then. And I was like, you're not protecting me. Out. Like, I want a real team that's not going to let anything come through, anything mess with me or penetrate.
right, I see.
So, sometimes there's leaks, that, and you've seen it.
Mm.
But
So what you're describing there implies that like angels and guides can make mistakes, they're fallible, they like screw up,
Okay.
or
I don't know about the guides as much,
yeah.
like if you're gonna go in strict like the way other people talk about guides. But as far as the archangels, I know that um there are times where I felt really let down,
Hmm.
and we had full on conversations, and they explained like, yeah, like because humans have free will.
Hmm.
So I remember crying hysterically, saying, Why would you lead me this way? Why would you tell me to proceed? Like, why would you lead me into danger, heartache, whatever?"
Mm.
And they explained to me, as you were praying for something, this other individual was praying for something, we didn't know he would turn away from us, turn away from the light. We did, like,
Hmm.
he prayed for you
Mm.
and then turn his back on all of us, like me and the angels. So that's what they were trying to explain to me, because I was like, why? Why would you do this to me?
Yeah,
And
I
that's what
see.
they said.
So do they don't have the ability to know the future, or they choose not to know the future?
I don't know. Because if we have free will, doesn't that change things? I mean, unless you
Mm.
jump into the time
Yeah,
machine.
that would, yeah. Okay, so basically the future is undefined because we can like change the future at any
Well,
moment.
think about it. Like, if you were
Mm,
doing this thing and you're mapping it out,
mm,
okay, like almost like etch a sketch or something. Okay,
yeah,
make a left here. But what if instead you made the right?
mm,
So that changes, right? Different variables, different outcomes. So
that's true.
each decision creates a different thing. Some people say even different realities, right?
Yeah,
It's like that person is still going there.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? I might still be married to my husband. I might still be 40 years old where I'm raising two kids alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's just all these things simultaneously coexist. But I
mm,
know I digress. So
that's
yeah,
right.
I don't think that they can know think about that. If everything, like sliding doors, that was a really good movie about that,
Mm-hmm.
because one scene she missed a train, one scene
Hmm.
she made the train, and her life went in completely different directions.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
Mm.
you know,
Oh
are
yeah.
they all knowing? I guess not. At least from my own experience. I could only talk about my experience.
Mm, mm,
And a lot of times when I ask them things now, I think it's really interesting because they'll send it back to me. What experience do you want to have? Because for my life now, it all comes down to what kind of experience do you want to have? Not like it's a life and death situation. Is it wrong or right? Like, oh my God, when I was
yeah.
younger, it'd be like so much pressure. I don't want to make a mistake. I want to make sure that I do the right thing. And
Mm,
it's really not that. It's like, what experience do you want to have?
yeah. Right.
So it's almost like a lot of weight has been taken off my shoulders. Like,
Mm, mm,
and
okay.
just trusting everything's going to be okay. I feel good about that.
Yeah.
So I think they've done a good job with me,
Yeah.
because I'm unrecognizable from somebody I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Mhm. Good.
I think that they've done well with me.
Yeah. I was thinking about something earlier in the conversation. This is off topic, but I'm going to be making these videos into little bite-sized pieces anyway. But I feel that um, if you wanted to, if you decided that you're going to learn and really focus on developing yourself as a soul, you could accomplish in, say, 10 or 20 years within one lifetime, um, what would take another 10 or 100 lifetimes to accomplish. So, for example, suppose I didn't want to come back and come back and come back and come back, and I just wanted to speed up my evolution. I could decide, okay, I'm not going to remember my life when I come back next time, and then I'm going to forget that life and forget that life, and I could be in never-ending loop and
Hmm.
screw up and make mistakes, and it would just take me forever to evolve as a soul. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to, from now until the rest of my life, to the very best of my ability, I'm going to, you know, develop myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, if that's even relevant. But just be the best I can be, the kindest I can be, for for this time I have left on this earth, and then like maybe I can just like hurry up with this ascension already. You know. Now, what are your thoughts?
Well, I agree that for a lot of people, it's the opposite.
Hmm.
They don't take their spiritual aspect of themselves as a
Hmm.
priority. It's a physical realm,
Hmm.
and they get lost.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like maybe they don't make huge progress
Hmm.
because they get very trapped in the mundane BS.
Yeah.
And ever since I was young,
Hmm.
I lived my life, don't get me wrong, but my spiritual self has always dominated.
Hmm.
And again, I was lucky I had friends and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think there's any other way for me to go. Like,
Hmm.
I've heard that my last several incarnations,
Yeah.
that I always seem to go down this path of spirituality. It's a big focus for me. Even though we don't remember and things like that, it just always seems to be a big thing. And I know for me in this lifetime, people have stopped being my friend because of my spirituality. People have not wanted to be in a romantic relationship with me because of my spirituality. They either try to squash it. Well, I guess that is what they try to do. They
Hmm.
tried to squash it. They didn't want it. They didn't want it to be a part. They might have humored me in the beginning, and then it was all fake.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm with somebody that actually likes me spirituality.
Hmm. Yes.
But I think this is the first time, well, I know it is, that I've been with somebody who's actually an amazing human being. So when you were talking about you're going to be really, what if you decide I'm going to work really hard the next 20 years? Like you've done that your whole life. So it's kind of funny.
Mm. Well, I guess I try, but
Do you
yeah, I'm
think
gonna.
you've tried most of your life to be a good
Yeah,
human being?
yeah. You know, I just thought. Um, I just thought to myself. People talk about taking early retirement, right? And in the context of like, in their career, and they're maybe gonna retire at 50 instead of 65 or whatever. But I would like to take early retirement from this like coming back to Earth school every life, you know? Yeah, I'd
I had a
like,
12-year-old tell me next time say no.
yeah. What, a 12-year-old told you to say no next time? Really?
He was a psychic medium,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one where I woke up and my head was like splitting,
Mm-hmm.
and I was staying at the house he and his dad was staying at, and I just couldn't even look at anything. And he was trying to heal. He was a healer too, and
Oh,
he was trying to heal me, and he was chasing something in my head, the pain, the energy in my head.
that's an amazing 12-year-old.
And I thought, oh my God, it was the most wild experience because wherever the pain was, I didn't tell him anything. He knew it was here, but when he put his hand, it would run away from him and it would go, say, to the back of my head. He put his hand in the back of my head. It would run away and jump all around. And it was making me like so dizzy because he was fast. He was tracking some energy, right?
Mhm.
Which was a consciousness that whatever was inside my head. I shit you not. He, he got it to where um I think what happened first, he screamed and it bit him.
Really?
and he had teeth marks in his hand.
No.
Swear. And after that, he was pissed. So then he went in harder, and it was like 4th of July in my head. Like he was not playing after that. I couldn't believe the kid had marks on his hand. And he went in and it exploded. It was almost like dynamite going off. And I was so dizzy that after that, like my brain was shot. Like I can't even describe. Like I couldn't hold a thought, a conversation. I just had to lay down for the rest of the day.
Oh my goodness. I hope he charged you.
He didn't.
He didn't. No, there'd be many that would that wouldn't have been as good as that little kid.
He was just an amazing soul, but he just knew
Mm,
empathically how much pain I was in, my heart and everything. And he said, he was one of many. He's not the only one that said, I didn't have to come here. I don't think I ever told you he said
mhm,
that to me. I didn't have to come here. I chose to come here to help. And he's like, it was too rough. This lifetime's been too rough on you. Next time, say no.
wow.
And he was serious. He's like, say no. You have a choice.
Yeah.
Say no. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Are you still in touch with him?
No.
Oh, what a shame.
They moved away.
Oh, wow. God blimey. He was an evolved soul, wasn't
He
he? Yeah.
was.
Well, then say no next time.
So it's funny that you would say that.
Yeah. But you know what? I think that we all go to our deathbeds and say, I'm not bloody coming back here. You know what I mean? And then
You think so?
when you're in your soul state, in
Sounds like a good idea.
yeah, it's like maybe you're persuaded. Oh, you need to learn this. Get back in there. Like, oh, you were horrible to old ladies. You need to go and live a life as a, you know, whatever, or something. And then you're like, oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I feel terrible. Oh, well, I need to learn it. Okay, right. Well, I have to, won't I? And then we end up do we get conned into coming back?
No, I think it you want to.
Right.
I think it's like amnesia, like childbirth.
Yeah.
This might be a little hard for you.
Yeah.
But like when you're giving, like you're in the throes of labor, it's
Mm,
no picnic, and you think, I'm not doing this again.
yeah.
No, thank you.
Mm,
And then the beautiful baby comes out, and there's like an amnesia thing that happens. Otherwise, women would have one child. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
Like,
Right.
so, I think we kind of have something like that, you know?
Women should write themselves a letter when they have their first child. Yeah.
So anyway, I wonder if it's part of that. But Earth School, we can get a lot done faster,
Mm,
from
right.
what I understand. So, if you want to make changes and grow and evolve, and because the whole point is to experience things, right?
Mm,
So if we go to a place, because Earth is of duality, right?
yeah.
So
You told me it was the densest place.
that's what I understand. It's a
Mhm,
densest place, and it's very heavy to be here. Think about it, right?
mhm,
Like even when you meditate and stuff like that, for me, um, just that energy that comes in, it feels so good. But most of the time we feel very weighted down. I, for one, think about how dense Earth is now, because there are so many blessings in my life. And look at how much I struggle.
mm,
Look at, like, and when I say struggle, to be in gratitude. When honestly, I have what I've always wanted. Why aren't I always like whistling Dixie? And I mean, maybe part of the reason, I know that you say I have a lot on my mind, but before I met with you, I was in Florida. I could feel things. There's always that too. Like that's probably why I've gotten to like nature more and more, or like to be in like where we live now, because it's more and more uncomfortable for me to be around people. It's been over the years, it's getting more difficult for me to be around a lot of people.
yeah.
And I I try to explain that to you. The negativity in others really will lower my frequency, and I'm not willing to do that. It's too hard for me to raise it back up. It's okay. So
Mhm.
it is a dense planet. There's a lot of funky energy, and we have to constantly cleanse ourselves and do what
Mhm.
we can.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay. Hey, do you want